So let's go ahead and get started, folks. Happy Monday. Welcome to Draglist Live, where we get to bench race with the world's top drag racers. And I really mean it tonight. My name's Bill Pratt. It's great to be with you. Tonight, we're checking in with the great gasser racer, Bones Balogh. And Bones, let me ask you, I should ask you before the show. I've heard your name is probably one of the most mispronounced in history. Did I get it right? Is it Balogh?
Oh, you didn't. Now, this is real simple. I've told this over the years. It's
Sure.
bay log, like a log floating in the bay.
Gotcha. Balogh. All right. Fantastic. Thank you, sir, for joining us. Before we bring Bones in, let's go to John and find out how the chat's going to work. John?
Thanks, BP. I'm doing great here, and howdy from Houston, everybody. But please join us on the live chat. Tell us who you are and where you're from. I'll take notes and I'll pass your questions and comments along to BP and Bones. The chat is on the right side of the screen on your YouTube channel.
Awesome. Thank you, John. And folks, without further ado, go ahead and click like and share. Let your friends know we have Bones on here live. And while you're at it, subscribe to the channel. We have 121 subscribers and a lot more people who are coming in and seeing it live. So welcome. So let's go into it. Bones Balogh, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
So great to have you on, sir. I believe we've met a couple times at some of those California hot rod reunions, but it's amazing how many years ago that's been now. The whole nostalgia scene is like 20 years old or 25.
I've
Pretty
met
amazing.
so many people, over the years, 60 years of drag racing. Wow.
Wow. Are you still running the Camaro or did you finally hang it up?
The Camaro has been sold. I ran that until 2012.
Wow.
Then I got a call from Rocky Perone back east. He wanted to build a tribute car, the Big John Masmanian car.
Right.
And I called Big John's son, and he gave me the okay. It's all right, he says, as long as I was involved with it. So I raced it for 4 years back east. Lots of fun.
Outstanding.
Indianapolis, Bowling Green, Thompson, Ohio, Beaver Spring, all over back east. And they even brought it out here first to Bakersfield. So
Right.
that was my final, until I was 80 years old in 2015. I hung it up, and I haven't been back in a race car since, and I'm missing it.
Oh my goodness. That the 60 years of drag racing did, and you were back in all the gasser haunts. Did you do Thompson and places like that way back in the day?
Yes, I did. Yeah, with not the early days. Back when they were building these tribute cars for me to drive, Ernest McIntyre made one,
Yeah.
or Ken McIntyre, and we had it back there, and I raced it. But I started out at Lions Drag Strip, my first race car, and it was 1955. The first time, that was when Lions opened. And this is something I want everybody to know. I mean, they don't have to know it, but I won my first race in my 6 years of racing at Lions. The first day I went out there in my little 37 Chevrolet with a GMC 270 GMC motor in it. And I'll never forget that.
That's so awesome. Well, I was looking at, the great Junior Thompson has a website where it's got, your whole history there, which they added, I think, a number of great gassers. So I was able to refresh my memory and see some of that cool stuff going on today.
Yeah, Junior he's gone today. Geez, K.S. Pittman, all my friends are gone. Doug Cook, Big John. But I had my time, and I wish they were still here.
Yeah. Well, bless their hearts. They're up there looking down on us.
That's right.
So you got started about the age of 14. You got your driver's license when your uncle got you a car.
Oh, how did you find that out? Anyhow, yes, I was 14 years old, and I was helping my uncle out in the valley here cut grass for these rich people out there. And well, we were cutting the grass at this. He was a movie star. I don't know if you ever heard of him. I never did then, but Hugh Herbert.
Hugh
He was
Herbert.
a movie star. And he had this, geez, what year was my Buick? A 1934 Buick Limited Coupe for sale. And I guess my uncle did a little talking to him, and $35. Wow.
I
I
love
said,
it.
well, I don't have it in my pocket, but my uncle paid for it. And he said, you could just work it off with me on the weekends. And was my first car, not a race car, but it was my first car. I took it to high
Right.
school, and I was pretty good. You know, everybody wanted to take a ride in my car.
Yeah.
All my classes, of course, at high school was all auto shop, auto sheet metal, anything to do with automotives.
Right.
And okay, where was I going to go with this? Okay. I finally had a chance to buy a 41 Chevrolet just to drive around, and I sold that Buick for $75.
Oh man.
My anyhow, and
Should have
then,
gone into the stock market. You're, more than doubled your money there.
then I was 17 years old, and I wanted to join the Navy and see the world.
Mm-hmm.
And so my folks, okay, they signed for me to quit school. I didn't even finish high school. I was in the 12th grade, and I joined the Navy. And I did my time over,
Where'd you
traveling
go?
aircraft carrier, Japan and back, and I was during the end of the Korean War. Anyhow, 2 years. Then I got out. And then back to cars again.
Right.
Well, then, of course, I got married. And that was my first wife. I've been married twice.
Mm-hmm.
And I started with these cars. And, well, I bought a 49 Chevrolet, fastback four-door. And I wanted to make it a race car.
Mm-hmm.
And I had just started working for Eskandarian as a dyno technician and building motors and stuff. And I wanted to put a V8 in it. So I built a motor at Eski's shop. No matter what I wanted to do, he said, it was just go ahead and do it. We're here to make horsepower, and whatever you do, we let the people out there on the track know what you've done, and
Right.
anyhow, to sell cams. But Eski says, you're going to put that in that big old heavy car and want to go racing? I said, yeah. He said, if you're going to do that, then you got to have low gears. Well, you couldn't go to the speed shop and buy low gears back in them days, especially
Right.
for a Chevrolet with a torque tube drive shaft and all that. He told me go to junkyard and get a 53 Buick Roadmaster rear end drive shaft. And I have a friend, Henry's Machine here in LA, and he can adapt it to my Packard transmission. Everybody says, why a Packard transmission? Everybody was using a LaSalle transmission back in them days.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he says, because the Packard has a lower first gear, and this car is real heavy. And that Buick rear end has a 444 gear ratio in it because it was hitched up, I guess, to a Dynaflow. And he says, this was in Inglewood, California, and Inglewood Tire Company was just coming out with slicks recap, putting slicks
Mm-hmm.
on tires for these guys. He said, go down there and order a set of tires, the smallest diameter you can find that'll fit that rear end, the 14-inch or 15-inch, any smallest diameter. Take that battery out of the front, put it in the trunk. We did all this, and take that spare tire on, fill that up with some concrete, put the rug over it, and go racing. Well, 250 wins with that car.
Wow.
I got road tested more times Even Mickey Thompson himself had to crawl under the car after I took the pan down to check it out. Well, I would get $25, if I was
Yeah.
legal. And I was, and he used to kid me. A week or so later, somebody else would protest me, and Mickey would say, "Look, I'll tell you what you do. Why don't you leave half those pan bolts out? It won't take so long to get it down."
Yeah.
That was that. And I raced it for, I don't remember, not too long, up till 59. They had the Southern California Championship drag race at Pomona. Today, that's the Winter Nationals and all that. And I was going to race there. So I went out there and I raced the fastest degasser there was at the time, D-Win Chevrolet, a little 37 Chevy Coupe. And would you know it, I won. And I got to be the 1959 Southern California champion. Never forget it. And
I love it. Is
and
that when the headlines start rolling in, Bones?
so I still had the car, and then I run into a friend. Well, there were actually two friends. They were the twins, the Malicote brothers. I don't know if
Yep.
you've very
Bless their
famous.
hearts. I know them.
Right. And they wanted to go drag racing. Well, they had already had a 41 Chevrolet, but they didn't even have a motor. He'd come to me to want to, get some information on motors and stuff. I said, heck, I got a motor in that 49 Chevy. Well, why don't we put it in there and go racing? I said, that sounds good. Well, that's the start of that. Same motor that was in the 49 went into the Malicote's car. Oh boy, here we go. You want the whole story of my life? It's gonna take a long
Yeah, we do. Well, let's take a break and go to John, because John's checking out the chat out there. Let's see what folks have to say. John, is there anybody out there with greetings or questions for Bones?
Yes, sir. We're coast to coast right now. And Kate Thurkelson in Salt Lake City says, good evening, gents. Miss K is here. Have a great show. Rich Panacaro in New Jersey is here with us, and he says, good evening, everybody. Randy Johnston says, good evening, gents, from Cameron Park, California. Looking for a good show tonight. Rocky Perone is here, and he says, hi, guys. Awesome to see Bones, true legend of drag racing. So glad to call him my friend. And Bones, you were talking about one of your cars, I think that you don't have anymore or something. And Rocky said, y'all build another one. And Jim Sanders got here just in time. I'm going to have a question from Jim here in a minute. Jack Red says, hello, everybody. Brianna Hodgson is here with us tonight, and she says hello. Now, Jim asked, he says, does Bones have any memories of running in the St. Louis area tracks back in the blown gasser days of 67 and 68?
St. Louis. Name some tracks. I can't remember. Oh, I have to.
Yeah, we had. Let's come up. Well, the St. Louis International at the time.
I raced in Detroit in 62 and the U.S. Nationals at Indy and at Quasco, Maryland, and Youngstown, Ohio. That was then in 1962. That was with a Corvette. It was a 58 Corvette. It was sponsored by J&J Muffler.
Awesome, right.
My good friend, Nick Marshall's, Slick Nick, we call him, Marshall Vermillion. They went on to race in the top fuel classes and all that. Right. But he had this car and he was going into the Navy, and it had a blown up engine in it. And he said, why don't you take this and put your motor in that and go play with it a little bit? Well, I was just taking it out of the Malicote's car because they got their motor done now. And here I had the same motor now. I put it in that 58 Corvette, J&J Muffler.
Wow.
And around here, the fastest car then was a fellow called Big John Masmanian. and they were riding a nice brand new 61 or 60 Corvette. Richard Cerrone, his nephew, was driving it, and I would just whip them up every night, every time I go racing. And the long story goes, well, down the road, I said to John, one night I said, I'm going to Indy to race. You going there? John says, no, I wouldn't go back there in front of all them people and get beat by you. But how you going to get that car back there? I said, I flat towed it out here. That's all I know. Flat towing. No, you're not. See that trailer over there? Beautiful trailer, 4 nice chrome wheels on it and all that. You take that and go back there and show them boys what you got.
Right.
Okay, John, thank you. And I did. I did win the U.S. Nationals in 1962. Then I was approached at the Nationals by, I can't remember the name, fellow that was running the Detroit drag strip. It was called the Detroit All-Star Meet right after the Nationals.
Got it.
To come there and race, and well, it all happened for me. I won that and set a new track record and a new record for cars in that class for the elapsed time. You know, I forgot what it was. 1088, 125 or 28 miles. I don't remember exactly.
But solid.
But anyhow, I came home after all that, having a good time over there in Aquasco, Maryland. They had no competition for me back there. He said, would you run this unblown Chevrolet dragster for top eliminator? I said, I don't know how fast he goes. Oh, man, he's going 8 miles an hour, 10 miles an hour faster than this thing's going, because I had a supercharged motor on it.
Yeah.
I'll do that, and I won. He missed a shift, or something went wrong, and I won top eliminator at Aquasco, Maryland.
That's not 10 miles from where I'm sitting right now, Bones.
Oh, really? Okay. And I have a friend back there too. Wolf, can't remember. He was well, anyhow. Then we came home. I got to take John's trailer back, and he says, I'll meet you out at the Irwindale racetrack Saturday. I have a friend that'll bring my car out there, and we'll pick your trailer up. And we're going to race. Well, when I was at Quasco, Maryland, I leaned on the motor a little bit hard to beat that dragster, and I burned a piston. That didn't even bother me.
Yeah.
I didn't think anything happened. Went out there to race John. He beat me. I could not believe it. I finally got beat by Big John. And then I said, John, I just checked everything here. The piston's got aluminum all over. I burned a piston. So what? He says, Bonesy, look at that car you got. I don't want to say what he called it, because there was duct tape on it and all that. My 50. Look at mine, brand new 61, nice Corvette. I said, John, what are you going to say? I want you to drive that. I said, nope. Got a 4-speed, and I'm never going to drive another car with a stick shift in it. I did have a problem one time. I could tell you that if anybody asked, but almost cut my leg off. But you know,
my gosh,
when a clutch blows up and comes up, puts the brake pedal off your car, and then you can't stop it. Anyhow, I said, never again. He said, no, what I want to do, I want to buy your motor and transmission and put it in here, and we'll be partners, and we'll go racing. I said, he's gone. You're kidding. I said, yeah. He said, he'll pay all the bills. Whoa. Look, so we had a good fun. Run out of competition. Nobody else there could handle that car and beat it. So John wanted to go with the big boys. He wanted to go and start driving or racing in the gas classes, the gasser classes.
Right.
I said, well, John, I don't know. Whatever. You got the money, I got the time. So he bought a 41 Willys, and next thing you know, I put that same motor in. Now it's been in all them cars, and put it in the 41 Willys. we did pretty good. B-gas. We raised, a lot of different people, and
Right.
John wasn't happy. He wanted to go on A-gas supercharged. He said, I want to go up there and race with Doug Cook, K.S. Pittman, and all them guys. I said, I don't know nothing about Oldsmobile motors. No.
Yeah.
He says, you know how to build a Chrysler motor like them dragsters guys. I said, yeah, I can do that. Working at Esky, I had all that info and
Sure.
doing all that. I built a Chrysler motor and I put it in there and sold that motor. Now, mind you, that little Chevy motor after all them cars has been into to Bob Vanilla. He put
Really?
it in his car, and the first run, he blew it up.
Oh no.
All them engines, races and everything. His driver missed a shift and kicked the rod out of it.
All she wrote. Oh my
Got it
God.
all picked up again. But we went, where am I at?
We were just putting together
yeah.
the Hemi or the Chrysler motor with
Right. Okay. Now the big deal is big race at Pomona. It's a Winter Nationals. I want to race against Doug Cook, Stone Woods and Cook. Oh yeah, let's go, John. Let's go. Went through a couple of rounds of racing there, and the final was against Doug Cook.
wow.
He gave me a whole shot. I smoked them tires at 300 feet out there, ran 149 miles an hour, and it was the first time any car in that class run in the 9-second bracket. But I got beat.
Wow.
That's what you call it. If you snooze, you lose. But
Yeah. Is that great 977?
I didn't win all my races, but I won quite a few. But that was the beginning. Then Tim Woods told Doug Cook, "That's it for this Oldsmobile. We're going to put a Chrysler in there."
Right.
He ran 142 and we ran 149. He said, all that speed he had and broke them tires loose.
Yeah.
All we needed was some good tires. So Big John says, where did I buy them slicks? I says, up in Bakersfield. Ernie Hashem has them. We're going to go up and get some new slicks for this car. So we were going to run Bakersfield, and so we stopped at Ernie's place first, and we went around looking at tires. I said, wow, look at them big wide tires over there, John. Yeah. I said, yeah, I think we can use them. And Ernie has said, that's not for dragsters. And I said, well, let's try it on this coupe. We put them on there, went to the races, and well, we did it. We won the meet. And when it was all said and done, they called us to the line, and we won the outstanding performance of the meet in 1964 at Bakersfield, running a 977 laps time, 977 laps time, and 983 laps time.
Yeah.
And the story goes on, but that was a fast car.
That was amazing. Let's let me take a second and check in with our chat line. I know people are out there with bated breath. Any other thoughts or questions from the team, John?
Yes, we've had several statements and questions.
Okay.
John Sergio showed up. He said, "Good evening, gentlemen, and hi, Bones."
Hey,
John is going to be featured tonight along with Patty Stiso as Racers of the Week this week. Randy Johnston said this YouTube is working very well for the program. Now, no problem getting on. Thank you.
Right.
And he also said that he saw Big John stage at San Fernando one Sunday and a rear U-joint let go and whipped around under the car. He said this was long before drive shaft loops. This was in 1965.
Wow.
And
you might have been there that day, Bones.
No, I wasn't driving in 65.
Yeah, we weren't driving that. Got it.
I quit. Well, I could tell you that story. The next car is coming up.
Okay, gotcha.
Right. Jack Fred asked.
Go ahead.
I remember that happening to John, though. He had 3 or 4 different drivers, and I don't know if that was, well, I can't remember which one.
Right.
It did happen, yeah.
Gotcha.
And the reason I quit John. He was starting to listen to too many people, and I didn't, I got to do this and I got to do that. I got to change this. This guy's got that, and this guy's got that. I said, I don't think so, John. I said, we got a pretty good, number here.
Yeah.
No,
Too many
anyway,
cooks in the kitchen wasn't kind of mess up the combo.
I had the car all apart, and then another thing he told me, he says, and then I want you to have the car at my place when we start work. I had it at my house, see, and he had to come all the way from Whittier down there to my house in Inglewood. Now he wants you to have the car up there. And said, yeah, and I just kind of got the wrong impression. I said, John, you know what? Maybe you ought to I'll hang it up here. And I was going to quit drag racing because I didn't want to do that. And I said, the motor's apart. You want to put it back together for you? Nope. I got somebody can do it. Well, long story short, the car never run as good. Now here I am bragging.
Right. Well, it's no brag, just fact, right?
It never ran as good, but 3 or 4 different drivers. And then it fell off a trailer back east and got demolished and never seen it again.
Oh, man.
Somebody took it back there. And funny how a friend of mine had a 33 Willys, Gary Duback.
Yeah.
Running a Chevrolet motor, and he come up to me. He was paraplegic. He got, crippled at Disneyland working on the Matterhorn, got knocked down, and
oh my gosh,
he was very, very sharp. He knew how to work on cars and everything, even went in the wheelchair. And he drove his own car, hand controls, all this. He asked me. I said, I'd like you to drive this car. I said, I can't drive with hand controls. I don't know nothing about that. He said, no, I'll put it all together and we'll go out and race. So we did. He did it. And nice. Got approached in the pits that day by a fellow called Joe Paisano. He says, take that Chevy motor out and go. I got a Chrysler motor in here. I'll give you and we'll be partners. Wow. Here we go. Bones Balogh and Paisano.
Yeah.
And we did pretty good with that car. And it keeps on going. Going. Where to go from there?
Well, I guess they all sort of wanted to go funny car racing after a while.
Yeah,
I know Joe.
That's right. Joe wanted to go funny car racing, and he asked me if I wanted to drive. I said, no, I don't want no part of Nitro. I don't know why. I don't want no part of Nitro. No, okay, so his brother Frankie's going to drive it. So I'm out. I'm done. And that's when
But then you hooked up with Tim Woods, didn't you? After that,
1969, Doug Cook had got hurt driving one of them cars back in Alton, Illinois, and it was the end of his driving career. And they had Doug Cook's brother drive it the next year, which he's still here too, his brother. And he come to my house, said he wanted me to drive that car. I said, I can't. I don't want to drive it. Stone was a Cook. I mean, I've been racing against them. No, we'll put. How about Stone Woods and Bones? I said, will you do that? He says, yeah, I'm going to call the Gould Agency. We got a tour lined up, 4.5 months on tour all over the country. You're going to race against K.S. Pittman, Junior Thompson, and Big John Masman's name on the car, and Ohio George. And you're going to be booked in as one of the 4 fastest gassers in the nation, and you're going to go on tour. $1,000, win or lose. Wow. Anyhow, I did that, and it ran real good. I mean, I won my share of races with that. Never could beat Ohio George, except one time. He missed a shift or broke something, and I did win. Oh no, I outrun him one time, and anyhow, he was the one I couldn't beat.
Gotcha. It was a pretty trick car, wasn't it? It was like 880s, and it was a 467-inch Hemi in a Mustang.
That's what I had, yeah.
That's been pretty trick, for the time.
And they had the funny cars were on circuit back there too. It was called a Coca-Cola circuit or something. I don't
Yeah.
remember.
Cavalcade of Stars.
Yeah. And then sometimes we'd be at the same track, us, the four fastest gashes, and them guys. Well, we ran first, and it was later in the evening that they were run, and they asked me if I'd fill in because one of the cars broke.
Right.
I said, well, I can run alcohol in this car because I know how to do that. I had the nozzles and everything if I wanted to do that. And I did, and I put alcohol in it. Went up there, put a show on around 176. That's the fastest I ever run in a quarter mile.
Wow.
And that's my story, on that. But it was a 161-mile-an-hour car on gasoline, just straight as an arrow, like driving a Cadillac. In long wheelbase instead of a Willys, And then
done it. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Then I come home. My wife was pregnant at the time and going to have a baby. I left in 1962 when I had a baby. My daughter, she lives with me now. But I said, I guess I'll hang it up. That's it. I've had my fun. Well, it didn't last long. I worked at Vinolia now.
Yeah.
I only worked for Eskandarian for 8 years. And then I went to Vinolia because Paisano was involved in that and all this. And I did good there. I like being a machinist. And are you still seeing me? Because I don't see you on the screen.
I sure do. You're not seeing me anymore?
No.
Oh, let's see. We still got you, Bones.
As long as we got some voice there, I can hear you.
Okay. John, make sure everybody can see Bones still. If you would check that on the chat, please.
Okay,
go ahead, sir.
All right. Now, my son-in-law's taking a look here. Well, anyhow, there's no problem. If I can hear you, I know you're talking to me here.
Yeah, you look beautiful. We can see you great.
Okay, well, good. Okay, he's showing me his phone. Okay, good. All right, now, I had a good friend. We were both foremen at Vinolia, and he had a 69 Camaro. And I said, Brown, how come you never, take that out to the drags or something? And he said, I'd be ashamed to. I said, I can't even break the tires loose on this car or something's not right with it. I said, hell, bring it over to my house. I'll tune it up for you and check it out. Well, I did. I found the problem and all that. And I took it out. Then I got it out on the street and I got on it. Boy, I smoked that one tire all the way down the block. Man, it's got some power. Way that Brown gets a ride in this. So went to work the next day. I said, Brown, it runs good now. You want to come back? Come over and on the way home here. Well, okay. Take it for a ride, Brown. No, you can show me. I'll ride with you. And did the same thing. He says, wow. Wow, he says. I said, you know what? Let's take it to the drags. Big Willie is running at Terminal Island down here in LA or Long Beach, and let's see what it does. So we took it out there. Now, mind you, smoked that tire, runs 94 miles an hour. I said, well, that's all I've got, Ron. That's pretty good speed. I said, but it'd go better, if we put slicks on it.
Right.
Okay, how much they cost? I don't know. So he bought them. We put them on. Next week we go out. Now it's going better, but one tire's breaking loose only. So one thing leads to another. I says, let's put a positive traction in it. And it goes better and better. Now he got the bug and I got the bug again. Now we're going to start running it down at Carlsbad and different places. Well, let's put let's put a different carburetor setup on it. And we did this. And then we come home, we're doing better and better. I kept on. Long story short, I had the car in my garage for 20 years.
Wow.
It ended up being one of my fastest gassers. It 159.80 and an 860 elapsed time.
Wow.
On gasoline, Bakersfield, we would run B gas.
Right. So you ran the nostalgia circuit pretty much on.
Yes. But
Beautiful.
I run the old fashioned way, you know, just braking, none of this trans brake and all that. I didn't know nothing about that. So, and most of them were letting off so they don't break out.
Right.
Well, anyhow, I won a few races, and the best it ran was an 858 and 159.
That's amazing.
And
I'm writing numbers here to make sure I have those.
Well, so one night Brown come by after work there, and he says, "Bones, I wanna quit racing. It's not you, it's not the money, it's nothing. We even had an enclosed trailer and all that."
Right.
I said, "Oh, Brown, I'm gonna kind of miss that." He said, "No, I'm giving you the car. You can do what you want with it, race it, sell it, do anything."
Wow.
What? He gave me that car. Well, I kept it in the garage for another year, and I put it up for sale. And guy bought it, sent me the cash to my bank. Went to Joe Paisano, and I says, "I want to buy a brand new Honda." His girlfriend works there, see.
Yeah.
Spent that money and got a brand new Honda, and it's still in the garage today, my Honda. And I didn't race anymore after that.
Is that the hottest Honda out there?
It was a good car, beautiful, all steel except for the hood.
Beautiful. Well, Bones, can we take a break and see what the folks? I know there's a couple of questions folks have been asking, and one of them was old Jack Red, who used to run a Quasco back in the day. He was a magazine editor, the old Jack approved guy, if you remember him, with the decals. But he's John. Do you have Jack's question?
Yes, Jack asked Bones if you ever raced against Big John.
You mean Masmanian?
I did, but when we were racing the Corvettes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I had the J&J Muffler Corvette. Then I ended up driving his Corvette.
Yep.
And then being partners.
But Jim Sanders asked if you ever knew Kurt Wasson.
No, I didn't know him personally.
He was a St. Louis-based racer. Eventually got into funny cars himself. Called his cars superstitious. They were Chevy powered. That Jim is his nephew, so he was hanging around back in the day.
Jim said that Kurt raced at Pomona and Irwindale, Alton Dragway, Mid America, Lee County, to name a few. And he's quite a great historian on Kurt Wasson's racing career. He was just wondering if you ever met him out there.
If I did, it doesn't ring a bell, you know.
Yeah, no problem.
Well, Bones, how many guys have you lined up against? You know, probably hundreds, and and from different parts of the country.
Well, we have a person. Oh no, go ahead, Bones.
Oh, you know, I told you about the Stonewoods and Bones Mustang. That was 4.5 months on tour.
Right.
Racing, sometimes twice a week. All over, from Florida, New Hampshire, all over the South. I don't know how many drag ships that I've raced at, but it was something. But you know, one thing I'll tell you, I don't tell this to everybody, but that Stonewoods and Bones car made enough money with that car match racing. I came home with enough money with that car to buy the house I'm living in today that we're talking.
Wow.
Been there 53
Fantastic.
years.
That's the
So,
way to go drag racing right there.
right, you know, it's something. And I've had all this good luck and good people. Didn't cost me too much money, you know. I was just lucky.
I think Bones, good luck is when hard work and talent meets opportunity. That's what I've heard. I believe that's probably true of you.
And I built on so many motors for different people out there. They had, you know, drag racing. Build them at home in my garage, and geez, even movie stars I built motors for.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, John, do we have any other questions from the team?
Yeah, so we have a person posted by the name of Extra Mile 150. Didn't say what his name is, but that's his alias. And he says, "Hello, all. Does Bones have any Iski stories?"
Oh yeah, Eskies. You know, I've been all over. It's like the Johnny Cash song. We've been everywhere, man. You know. What kind of story would you like me to tell you?
Tell us about some of those
you
cam
know?
war stories. Did you have any back when they used to, basically just tear each other up in the ads?
Right, but that was, that was real stuff, though. You know, when I worked at Eskandarians, and I'd find some little trick on the dyno and all that. That's what Esky told me to do. I asked him, well, you want to know, before I get into that, how I got the job at Esky's?
Yeah, I'd love to.
This one always tears people up. I used to go down there on Monday, I'd race on Saturday night at Lions, and tell them what I did, and he'd put it in the ads or whatever, and get some more info. And well, this one day I was there, I heard a motor running in the back, and it sounded like a race motor, man. Open headers making all that noise. What they doing back there? No, it's a dyno. They're running a dyno. That's really. I want to see it. Went back there, and he had the guy. His name was Joe Mallard. Pull another run for him. He wants to hear it. I did. Wow. And I just kidding with Esky, and I looked at him. I said, "You pay him to do that?" He says, "I do that for nothing." He says, "Come on down next week. He's leaving. You're hired." And that was the story there. But yeah, the cam wars, that was true stuff. And Ed would tell me to go out to the drags, and you take anybody you think can use this cam, you're going to give it to them now. Don't have to pay for it. I want you to,
right,
get them guys running good. So they did good, and I did that to a lot of the guys. And when I did go back to Indy that time in 1962, I helped all them guys back there, and different things I learned with nozzle sizes and things. And
pretty awesome.
27 winners for Eskandarian in
Wow.
1962. That
I
ran
love it.
his equipment. But stories
John,
about Ed?
yeah, John, hang on just a moment if you would, Bones. John, is there
Cigar.
an issue or a question? What?
Yes,
I
Extra
saw you
Mile.
had your hand up.
Yeah, Extra Mile 150 identified himself. He's Greg Zyla.
Yeah.
Oh,
our buddy Greg. And I just thought I'd say, man, the Gasser Wars were fantastic. I remember reading about them in Hot Rod magazine every month when they had them, the Cam Wars and everything. Man, it was a golden era of drag racing for sure.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah. Boy.
So so those guys are pretty serious about it, though, aren't they? They were, back and forth.
Yep, that's right.
Those
Engel cams and Esky, cam wars.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That's right.
That's interesting. Did that transfer into the fuel classes eventually? Because Angle was Keith Black's choice, wasn't it, of cams for when he was building motors and
dragsters and all that it wasn't no more cam wars like, the the
Yeah.
talking and all that, like Big John and Tim Woods would do, you know.
Right.
Anyhow,
That was
well, Esky was one of a kind. He still is. I'm 14 years
yeah.
younger than him. I'm 89. He's 103, and I can't keep up with him. I was just there to see him last week. We had a
Yeah.
gathering. Wow. And still
We've had him
smoking.
on. I think we had him on when he was about your age, when he was just a youngster. So I think we're going to try to get him back on this year, but
Good.
pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I did want to say, that I just wanted to mention to everybody, and it's on John's poster here, the 2020 International Drag Racing Hall of Fame inductee. Congratulations, sir.
Oh, thank you.
Much, just well deserved. And how was that when you went?
Being a gasser guy and Don Garlis would pick me up like that. Wow. In 2020, no, in 2000, what year was it? 2000, I won. I didn't win, but I got a big trophy from NHRA. It was the outstanding something. I forgot what it was. Outstanding performance,
Mm-hmm.
from NHRA. And then I got inducted into the East Coast Drag Racing Hall of Fame. That was a fun time.
Right.
So, boy, where else can I go?
Oh, well deserved. That's well, did you get a chance to go down to Gainesville for that ceremony?
No, that was during COVID.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Had to fly home. I went to Garlitz's museum and all that.
Right.
But no, I wanted to go to the drags there, and I never did.
One
And
of
I
these
raced
days.
Florida, in the early days, I raced down there.
Right.
Not at Gainesville. I forgot the name of the tracks, but
Right. Well, there's Bradenton and all kinds of places down that way. Miami, Hollywood, if you went that far down south. And
yeah. The friend of mine that ran that track. Oh boy, he lived down there. I'm losing it with the names.
Yeah. Well, I should be able to help you. You got 30 years on me, and I should be popping them out.
Yeah. Come on, who ran the track back in Hollywood, Florida?
Yeah. Oh, Moroso, right? Eventually, but probably not that far back.
Like in 1969.
Yeah. Don't recall. I mean, Jack Red, if you're listening, tell us. You may remember, because Jack used to book a fuel circuit down there and all the way up and down the East Coast, top fuel cars. But about 69, I think. So, and he remembers everybody. But Bones, has been so much fun visiting with you. Any final thoughts for the fans out there? You just have done everything in this sport.
Well, I drove a lot of cars. I even drove Don Long's Alter. Don Long, he built all the fast race cars, over 200. I drove the first one he ever built, that he built in his garage at home, and I was courting my wife Kay at the time, and they lived next door to each other. When I go home at night, I see sparks flying in that garage, and one night I stopped there and said, what is that car over there? That's a Fiat. I said, wow. I says, well, what are you gonna do? I'm gonna drag race it. Really? You drive? He says, no, I don't drive. Well, he knew who I was, and he says, you want to drive it? I thought he was kidding with me. He says, not that little thing like that. Yeah, sure, I drive it. Well, it's another story. It was Don Long's first car he built. It never lost a race in its class.
Wow.
It wasn't just because of me driving it. It was a good car.
It just worked, huh?
It had nothing to do with building the motor or nothing. He had a supercharged Oldsmobile motor in it, and it just worked. And it never lost a race. And after that, he'd done so many things on my cars, built axles, front axles, and different things for the gassers. And of course, J&J Muffler Roadster. That was
Right.
another one that I wasn't a gasser. It was a B altered.
Right. Guess we got a picture of it right behind me here. John did this great poster. We need to make sure to get one for you, or to send you the high res
Yeah.
image, and maybe add something to your wall
That
back there.
car. And I just seen it here a week or so ago. It's going to be restored like it was.
Oh, great.
Yeah, that was it won the, I think it won the Winter National. I did, with the car 3 years in a row.
Wow.
One time you got time? What time
Yeah.
is it?
Well, we're gonna make time for you, Bones. Let's keep on rolling.
I was at Pomona, driving J.D. Muffler's car at the time, my own car, which was Big John's car.
Mm-hmm.
And it was oh yeah, and Safeway sandblasting car.
Okay.
It was a blown Arden flathead at the race that year. 3 different cars I drove in that race. One in one class, but no, 2 classes. I won with the sea gasser, and I won with the J&J Muffler car. And
Wow.
I runner up.
You're just listening to your stories is like a who's who of Southern California drag racing. All these great names that you've partnered with and raced against over the years. Wow.
I just said, and I just lost for names right now because, like the guy back there at Quasco, I went to his house. He was can't think.
We'll see. So it's
Different.
let me see. So now you got me thinking who I might know who it is. Is it it'll come to me.
Yeah.
But maybe see, I've got a little bit of that going on myself.
Well,
just John, ask Jack to tell us who used to run a Quasca back in the 60s. I better know who you're thinking of. His name's escaping me too.
I'm sorry. Did
y'all? Bob Bernard was one of them.
Bob Bernardin. Yeah, the Jolly Dolly.
That's right. See, it came to me finally.
Thank goodness. Yeah. Got it before me.
There was one more. He had a Chevrolet sedan he raced. Oh, man.
I think there's one of the cars called the Marylander. I don't know if that was Bob or not. I have to go back and look, but
yeah, there was 2.
The car's been restored.
Well, Silver Springs, Maryland. That's where he lived.
Yeah. Okay. Well, he had a little drive. That's up north of the DC line, and he had to come down all the way down here to Costco. Yeah, probably about 20 miles or so, 30, but depending on the traffic. These days, you wouldn't want to do it every day.
It's amazing what we've done back in those days. Oof.
Yeah, before the internet interstate highway system, before the, flat towing and towing on small trailers, it was a heck of a thing.
That's right.
No power steering often, and leaded gasoline and big old cars, and the heyday. Well, Bones, let me ask John if there's any final thoughts or questions from the chat, from our folks out there.
But Greg Zala had a question, and it was it Norm Johnson or Steve Calder who ran Hollywood Drag Strip? I don't know if we have the answer to that, Greg.
Norm Johnson or Steve Calder ran on Miami Hollywood. So thanks, Greg, for offering them up.
Hollywood, Florida.
Yeah. He did die. He was a drag racer. He came to California back in the day.
So it wasn't Dick Moroso, right? Is that who you're thinking? Eventually he ran it, but for a while.
Oh.
But
oh boy.
We'll get one of the historians. We'll get after this and we'll find out. Contact.
Man.
Okay.
Yeah, one of the fellows that worked at the drag strip, we got there early, and he said, well, his full-time job is at that creamery down the street. And I said, oh, really? It's a good story now, mind you.
Yeah.
You can go see him down there because he works at the drag strip on the weekends. So I'm looking for this dairy farm, and I don't see nothing. Nothing. It was a crematorium he worked at.
Oh.
Found out, and then went there, and sure as heck, there he was, and he was just in process of doing one of those things. Put him in there, and I got to watch all that.
Wow.
People, what kind of jobs they had.
Wow.
Anyhow, he worked at a crematorium, not a creamery.
Got it. Oh my goodness. The heat factor was much different. It's not cold, it's extremely hot. Now, I know a funny car racer from Maine who was a funeral director.
I think it was Art Malone that ran the drag strip for a while.
Art Malone, there you go.
That
This
ring a
is
bell to
terrible,
you?
folks, because Bones is remembering all this stuff that we cannot, and he's got many more years on us. So
Well, you know what?
great
As
stuff.
can remember, he just can't hear too good, but he can remember.
I hear you. So great. Well, Bones, thank you so much for visiting with us tonight. This was terrific, and thanks to your wonderful daughter and son-in-law for doing tech support and being right there, ready to go. We really
I don't know
appreciate it.
nothing about this stuff, and so
Well,
they're here watching in the background. So
awesome. Well, I've done IT for 40 years, and half the time I can't figure it out. It's not like the good old TVs where you just turn it on and flip the 3 channels and it just works.
well, thanks a lot. I was nervous all day, but I guess I unnerved myself by talking.
We're bench racers, man. We're not here to, we're just like you sitting back in the pits and leaning up against the trailer.
That's it. So many, and because of Drag Race, I got to meet so many people I wouldn't have never met if it wasn't for drag racing.
Right.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
That
you're a humble person, but you're one of the top names in the sport of drag racing. And, folks know who you are.
Thank you very much. Boy, oh boy.
Well, Bones, thanks so much for visiting with us. I wish you all the best. And let me ask you this, are you going to go out to Steve Gibbs Irwindale thing this year?
Always.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I hope to see you out there, because I'm gonna carve some time out, buy a plane ticket, and come out and say hello.
Good. I rent a golf cart. I can't walk that. I mean, I can walk, but I fell down here a couple of years ago, and I'm on my legs too much, walking. I feel better if I have a little cane next to me, but I rent a golf cart, man. I get to see all my friends.
That's the way to do it.
With us.
Yes. Well, the ones who are still here, bless their hearts. It's great to catch up with them, and because we'll leave it at that.
Thanks for having me.
Bones Balogh, thank you so much. Sir, have a wonderful evening. Thanks so much for joining us, and just an honor to talk to you. We'll see you down the road somewhere. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the great Bones Balogh, which I got the name right finally by asking the gentleman himself. Good evening, sir. All right, let's say farewell, and we will turn it over to John Bachman for this week's JB's Take and the Racer of the Week. John, take it away, sir.
Thanks, BP. My pick for Racers of the Week are John Sergio and Patty Stisso from Mount Pleasant, New Jersey. I've been friends with John for several years, and his Warpath Buick Nostalgia funny car is a true work of drag racing art. I would be challenged to find a better looking hot rod than this one. It's an honor to feature John and Patty in my segment tonight. John Sergio started going to the drag races with his older brother in 1969, attending just about all of the local funny car and top fuel events in the area. He began racing in 1977 with a series of Chevy Chevelles, running in the 12-second range at the weekly street bracket racers. In 1980, when he started racing a Don Tuttle front-engine dragster with a big block Chevy and a carburetor on gasoline. In 1983, John built a new S&W rear-engine dragster that he ran for 4 seasons with the same engine and transmission out of the front-engine car. Then they built the Stormfront Beretta funny car that had a 468 big block Chevy with Hilborn stack injection on it with alcohol in the tank. Very cool hot rod. They ran this car with great success, winning several match races and a semifinal finish at one of the Super Chevy events at Englishtown. The next and best car is John's current Warpath Buick Nostalgia funny car. This car was built with a Pro Start chassis and a new, still in the crate, Buick Somerset Regal body. It runs an aluminum 572 cubic inch Donovan Chevy with Dart aluminum heads and a Littlefield 1471 blower. The fabulous paint job was done by Jesse Lejeune at the original Circus Custom Paint Shop of Bob Gertis. All of the lettering, the graphics, and stripes were done by Glenn Weisberger, known to us as Taz Mraz. This is now the 16th season with this car and is still winning Best Appearing awards at the events they attend. John said it runs pretty well also, with wins in several runner-ups at the Great Lakes Nostalgia Funny Car events. His best ET so far with the car is a 671, and the best miles per hour is at 208. Patty and John have been together for 21 years, and she's been involved with building and maintaining the Warpath car since day one. She can and does everything from packing the chutes, filling the fuel tank, checking the tire pressure, getting John strapped in, priming and starting the car, and she will even handle major repairs. Hold on a second, y'all. Sorry to clear my throat. Such as replacing pistons and rods, installing the transmission, and installing the rear differential. Although what she's best known for at the track is her cooking and hospitality to all their guests. Now I got to sneeze and it won't. Yeah. She's the glue that keeps the Warpath team together. Well, John, she is definitely the best. John and Patty, thank you for sharing this great story with us tonight. We wish you good luck, safe racing, and the best of times in the future. I keep getting offers to play gigs. I don't know what more I can do or say that I'm not interested in playing live gigs in clubs anymore. I got an offer to host an open mic acoustic jam at a nightclub in Galveston. That's 76 miles one way, and it's a night gig. Now, I appreciate being considered for this, but it's completely out of the question for me. I'm working on the City Kings' second album with Scott and Bill, and we're enjoying it. It's going to take some time to get it perfect, as multi-tracking our music isn't the same as jamming it out live like we've been doing. I'm going to be playing most of the parts on it: bass, guitar, keyboards, and vocals. And Bill is playing his basic guitar parts and singing his songs, which I believe is all we'll need to turn out a top-notch project. As I've said before, Bill is a poet who happens to be holding a guitar. His depth of feeling and perception, combined with his natural talent for melody and song structure, is truly a rare gift, and I'm more than happy to support his songs. He and Scott have supported my songs with the same commitment. And since Randolph passed away 4 years ago, we've kept our vision in place and we're determined to see this project through to completion. It'll be 12 songs and it'll be good. I'm Wildcat One and I approve this message. Everybody stay safe and well. You are the most important part of this show and we love you all. We look forward to having y'all with us every week. It's a great way for us to spend an hour together on a Monday night. I'll see y'all next time. God bless America. Back to you, BP.
Thank you, John, and hope you get to sneeze out and get to. Is that because the kitty's up in your lap? I don't think you have that allergy to your little buddy there, but pretty cool. It's live radio, folks. That's how we do it.
Sorry about
so, all the best. We're good, and I do love me some Patty and some Patty's cooking and wonderful racers of the week, and love to actually get them both on here one of these nights and just chat about the car. We had a blast up at Keystone Raceway Park. Their pit was like the party central, and limoncello and acapella singing. It was a lot of fun, right? So anyway, fantastic, John. Thanks so much, and thanks for featuring our friends. Let's talk about some cool stuff coming up. We've got Funny Car Chaos at Maryland International Raceway on August 23rd and 24th. I hope you're going to join us there. I will definitely be there. So will John and Patty and many, many, many other top-notch funny cars from the East Coast and all over the country. So please join us. Funny Car Chaos, Maryland International Raceway, August 23rd and 24th. That's coming up so fast. Let's talk about upcoming guests. Our producer, Miss Kay Turkelson, has been just tearing it up, and including getting us the great Bones tonight. And on August 5th, next Monday night, funny car and top fuel racer Scott Stratford from the great state of Utah. Scott has been racing Nitro for years. He's going to come on and tell us all about it. I'm really looking forward to that. On August 12th, we are off because I have another commitment that evening and cannot be on. But then August 19th, ladies and gentlemen, we hinted last week, and John sort of kind of confirmed it. Corey Mack, the very famous top fuel racer, top 10 NHRA top fuel racer for many, many years. He's actually putting on a big event this year himself, which is going to be awesome. We'll talk all about that. We'll talk all about his top fuel heyday in the NHRA. August 26th, still trying to line up our final guest for that. Got lots of names we're talking to. We'll get that slotted in. And then September 2nd, it's Labor Day, and we will be taking that day off. So cool stuff coming up. Scott Stratford next week, a week break, then Corey Mack, and then we'll surprise you with someone for the 26th. Let's go into those we lost, a couple names to mention. One real close to home here, folks. On the 22nd, we lost our local hero here in Maryland, Terry Sinke, one of the top B-altered racers of all time. This guy was running 8 seconds at more than 150 way back in the early 70s in his little Fiat B-altered and comp. He also won many, many super pro races over the years. I've personally announced him many times at Budds Creek, and just a wonderful guy. Terry Sinke passing away on the 22nd. Also on the 22nd, going way down under, Peter Smith, also known as Big Pete to his friends, larger-than-life character behind the counter of DP Auto Parts, and a well-known drag racer in his record-breaking V6 Valiant. Now, this is not just anybody's V6 Valiant, because in Australia, you salute things, and if they don't salute back, you stick a blower on them. So Peter Smith, one of the Wild Bunch racers that we've enjoyed watching for so many years, passing away on the 22nd, and a V6 supercharged Valiant is what he used to go to the races, and just a wonderful guy. Thanks to Kira Parker for sharing. On the 22nd, also, drag boat racer Frank Carter passed away. One of those guys with crazy guys that used to do it on the water with the big blown motor. And our friend Kevin Kinsley passing that on, Nitro racer Kevin Kinsley. So farewell to Frank. On the 25th, this comes from Dickie Gore. His friend Joey Jive Cudmore passed away on July 25th. So farewell to these great racers. Thanks for the thrills, guys. Of course, our condolences to the families and all your friends. And with that, I think we're close to a wrap. John, any final thoughts on the show?
Well, I can tell you for sure that tonight for me was an hour-long lesson in drag racing history, and I absolutely enjoyed every second of it. And Bones Balogh is a living legend, and we would love to have him back one of these days because I just enjoyed everything he had to say. And we're looking forward to next week. We'll have Scott Strafford with us, and I've got a racer of the week lined up, and I haven't met him yet because Kay has been referring some people to me, and I appreciate all of Kay's hard work on our behalf. She's just been a great help to us. So everybody have a great week, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, John. And folks, let's finally do our wrap. We want to thank Bones Balogh. We're getting it down. We asked the question, we got the answer. So he's fantastic, and just what a walking encyclopedia of drag racing. And he did so much. One of the truly great drag racers in American history and the world. That means the world. Bones was awesome. Thanks to John Bockelman, my brother, Kay Turkelson, who has in manning a car show or personing a car show, but made time to join us. And of course, Rob McCabe, who's doing a great job updating the drag lists. Thanks to him. And of course, thanks forever to Danny White, the big man himself. Love you, brother. And thanks to Jeff Gilder of Zeus Digital Marketing, Racers Reunion, and Wingding Media. Click the like, click the share, and subscribe to the channel. We're building the audience here, but just let your friends know we are over here on this crazy YouTube thing, but it seems to be working well, with the exception of telling us when the show's live. So I always have this like cold chill at the beginning saying, I think we're live. I hope we're live. And it's not easy to really figure it out, but I didn't see John flipping out when there was, and so I saw him, I followed his eyes watching the chat. So I said, I think we're good. So we'll get that worked out. Anyway, check on a drag list every day to see what's new. Lots of good stuff we just put up today. And of course, we'll see you next Monday night. First, Scott Stratford. And what I'm going to do, I'm still with you. What I'm going to do is actually change my virtual background once again so that we're featuring the great Bones. And hopefully, if we're lucky, fingers crossed, this is the picture that will be used for the YouTube channel, because the last couple of weeks it's sort of, it's hit or miss. You see us, John and myself side by side. You see this, you see that. But we'll give this a try. Still baby steps, folks. Anyway, have a wonderful week. See you next Monday night for Scott Stratford. Until then, enjoy the summer, man. Almost August. Yikes.